Back with another one. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel. And it happened. Today is the day. The quarterfinal draw happened this morning. We're about to get into that, the different teams, and who is Manchester City going to play. But before I get going, I want to say happy Friday to all you guys. If you look at the odds right now, I look a little tired. Yo, it's bad early over here in America. It's like 8:15 in the morning. I know you guys have already seen other fan channels covering it. Our brothers and our sisters across the world, they got an earlier start, but it's early in the morning over here. But we're gonna get into these Champions League fixtures, if you will, and then we're gonna talk about who Manchester City facing in this Champions League. So before I get going, I want to say shout out to you guys. You guys have been awesome. I'm definitely appreciating all the love and support that you guys have been throwing my way over the last month. Continue to hit that like button. Continue to share the video, continue to subscribe, but also get at me in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking about out here. But let's get going into this, man. Blue is our city fan channel, and it was an interesting morning. I woke up around 7 o'clock in the morning, and I saw the draws come out, and we're gonna get into some of that right now. The first draw up first, Manchester City. We draw Dortmund. Now, of course, I'm gonna cover that later. That's gonna be the brunt of this whole video, but the video is gonna take a little bit longer, so I appreciate you guys' patience. But Manchester City face Dortmund. Then we got FC Porto versus Chelsea. We got Bayern, the mighty Bayern Munich taking on PSG. What a clash that is gonna be. And then you got the holders, the all-time favorites, Real Madrid taking on, Liverpool. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm gonna get into some of these matches a little bit, and then I'm gonna talk about Manchester City versus Dortmund. So obviously there's certain teams as a Manchester City fan I wanted no part of. So let's just get that right out the back. So I definitely did not want to play Bayern at this point. I would love to see our old friend Leroy, but I'd rather see that later on in the competition if we advance. A lot of City fans, as you guys know, we don't always have the best history here, but I definitely did not want to see Bayern at this point. And I definitely did not want to see Chelsea. And I'm gonna tell you why I say I did not want to see Chelsea. Not like I'm afraid to see in Chelsea. It's just that, bro, after Liverpool and after Tottenham, I don't want to see another English team in the quarterfinal stage. But as we look at some of these matches, that FC Porto versus Chelsea is gonna be very interesting because I think if most fans, no matter what club you support, if you would have saw this lineup come out and you're saying to yourself, yo, what team do you want to play? A lot of people have the tendency to say, yo, I want to play what they deem to be like a lesser team, which would be Porto in this case. But as you can see, Porto's not an easy out. You saw what they just did to Juve. You know what I mean? They sent them, them guys are on vacation right now. So we definitely did not want to play them. I mentioned that I did not want to play Bayern. And I did not want to play PSG. I know PSG is not fully healthy right now, but I think that Bayern Munich PSG game is going to be so interesting. And the reason why is that we know it's the almighty Bayern, the returning champions in the Champions League. But when you look at PSG, no Neymar right now. So one of their big key players is out. And then they're suffering with a few injuries. Poch is trying to really implement his style on this particular team. Obviously, we know that Thomas Tuchel was managing PSG and got them to the final last year. But this is going to be really interesting. And the reason why I say that is just when you think the odds are against Kylian Mbappe just does his thing. So this is going to be a really good opportunity for Mbappe to kind of put the team on his back and show you at a young age how talented this guy is. So I don't think Mbappe is going to run from this challenge. And do I really give him a chance against Bayern? No, especially with no Neymar. But I think this is going to be a really good chance for Mbappe to say, okay, you guys are doubting me right now. We still got a healthy squad. We still got good members in this squad. Kiembe, we got Marquinhos, Di Maria, I think is now came back. So they got some talent out there. But just when you think the odds are against this guy, it's something about this guy that you just got to pay attention to. So, and we already know with Lewandowski, with Muller, Bayern is just solid. Goretzka, Kimmich, they are just the giants of all giants right now. Just when you look at their squad on paper, and then they added our old friend, Mr. Leroy Sané. Real Madrid is very interesting because Real Madrid is a team that is seen that they don't I don't think that they're going to win the La Liga this year. I don't know if Atleti is still going to maintain the position that they have right now. I know Atleti's been kind of falling off a little bit of recently, so I don't really know what Real Madrid team we're really going to face. Obviously, they just played Atlanta, and then they sent Atlanta home packing, but Real Madrid just when you look at all these teams, Real Madrid just has that confidence when it comes to Europe and when it comes to the Champions League because they've won the Champions League how many times now? Like 10 times. And then when you look at them taking on Liverpool, this is very, very interesting because as we know, if you follow the Prem, like most of us do, if you watch the Manchester City fan channel, Liverpool haven't had the best time this year. From January they were looking good and they kind of been falling off. So all of their eggs essentially has to be in this Champions League, basket because we don't know if they're going to get top four. There's still maybe an opportunity for them to get top four, and I think Jurgen Klopp alluded to the fact that maybe getting top four is going to be a little difficult for them. So they're going to have to give up all of their eggs into this Champions League battle, and then when you look at Chelsea versus Porto, like I mentioned, Porto is the team that everybody's like, yo, I want to play Porto. Porto's the team that everybody's kind of sleeping on. But, like I said, they just sent Juve packing home last year. And as a City fan, we thought that Lyon was going to be like the opportunity for us to go through. But as you know, in the Champions League, nothing is easy. And when you look at Chelsea, on the other hand, ever since Thomas Tuchel took over for this team, they've been kind of rolling. Now, they haven't always played the best looking football, but I was shocked that they beat Atleti in the manner that they beat Atleti. So what Chelsea is really showing you is that, yeah, we might not have had the best season overall going from Frank Lampard over to Thomas Tuchel and then Timo Werner not really, doing what everybody thought he was going to be able to do. And then Kai Havertz, not really doing, not really flying the way we thought he was going to at least take off a little bit early in the year. But they're slowly starting to pick up those pieces and figure it out. And one thing we know that Thomas Tuchel has definitely brought to this team is for some reason they very solid defensively. I don't think Atleti even scored at all during their time. So it's really going to be interesting with this Champions League of what's really going to happen. Now, as we move on to Manchester City, because at the end of the day, this is a Manchester City fan channel, and we got to really keep it real with ourselves. We know the history of this competition, especially in the Pep Guardiola years. And I'm going to take everybody back through that a little bit here before I get on to the particular match versus Borussia Dortmund. So I want to know if you're watching this video out there, no matter where you are in the world, if you're a City fan or if you're not a City fan, are you confident going into this match versus Borussia Dortmund? And let me be clear about what I mean by that. We all love our team. If you're a Manchester City fan, we all love our team. But you have constantly seen throughout the Pep Guardiola years is that nothing is easy when it comes to this competition for some reason. In order to win the Champions League, you got to have a little bit of luck. There's got to be a lot of skill in there, but everybody has to be laser focused, and then you can't overthink the situation, which I'm alluding to right now, but I may touch upon again here in a second. Is that when we go back to Pep Guardiola coming into the club now? I know there's a lot of chat out there about, yo, he was brought in to win the Champions League. I'm going to say that's a bunch of nonsense. But if you disagree with me, that's fair enough. But when you look at, let's say, 2016, remember in 2015, we made it to the semifinals. Under Pep Guardiola, we have not advanced at all past the quarterfinals for various different reasons. When you look at 16, for instance, we know that was an older team. Pep Guardiola was essentially rocking with Pellegrini's team and hadn't really had a chance to add his players necessarily to that particular Manchester City squad. But when you look at Manchester City during those years, we had Zabaleta, we had Yaya, we had, Kevin De Bruyne was in that team. And then we had Pep Guardiola. We might have been a little confident kind of coming into that match playing Monaco. So then we play Monaco, and then next thing you know, we get bounced out to, the team, the young flyers, if you will. When you look at that team, Bernardo Silva was in that team, Benjamin Mendy was in that team, Kylian Mbappe was in that team, and then you had Falcao was in that team. So, it was It was really, as a Manchester City fan, I ain't gonna lie. I thought we was at least gonna advance in that year, but it goes to show you, even though when you think you riding this high, you could be brought back down to earth real fast. Oh, I mean, I gotta take a swig of coffee. Like I said, it's early in the morning. So we did advance that particular year. We move on over to 17. 17 is you know, the Centurion season. You might have seen me talk about this before in other videos, but it's a Centurion season. We feeling confident. We rocking based upon what we doing in the Premier League. We played Liverpool, and man, we just got spanked. I don't care what the final score was. I mean, that was just heavy metal Jurgen Club football, and a lot of things happened in there. So we were confident, but confident in a different reason. Confident in the fact that we were winning all these games and nobody could seem to touch us in the league. So you're carrying that on over to Europe. And we just, we got sat down. Right? There's no other way to put it. No matter how you want to look at it, we got sat down by Liverpool. You're going into 2018, 2019 season, you're saying to yourself, okay, we got Tottenham, but we've had success against Tottenham in the league. So we thought that we were feeling a little confident. All of a sudden, we played them in the first leg. Son scores the goal, and we're probably questioning the tactics, to say, what was that? Kind of like a defensive, just try not to get exposed too much. And then we all know what happens in the reverse fixture where it was electrifying, but it was heartbreaking and we lost. Brings us over to last year. Last year, we're saying to ourselves, you know what? This is a different competition in the way of what happened last year, being that, the time that we was living in, we were reduced to having just a one-off game. So most City fans thought, okay, we're playing Lyon and it's a one-off game. So maybe this is the opportunity. And we just got our breaks. We had to basically, pump the brakes. And, Leon went through. And then all the banter and all the questions come around about consecutive years. Whether I don't care if you're Richard Keys, I don't care if you're Craig Burley, Ali Moreno, Simon Stern, any pundits out there, they all start to look at it. Maybe as City fans too, we started looking at, what is Pep doing? Is he like just really overthinking the strategy? Is he just, what's going on? He's tinkering too much. He should just go on with a solid plan. So basically, everybody's asking questions about Pep for one reason or another because we lost. Now, what do I want this year? Because this year, as we know, as I transition into Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund this year, what I tend to do is I don't get too high or too low on this particular competition. I try to do my best to stay even kill. So now that we're looking at Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund as the draw just came out this morning, let's let the Nervous Nelly show begin. And the reason why I say a little bit Nervous Nelly is that I'm confident in my team, but I don't really know because history shows us that anything can happen in this competition. The only thing we hope is that Pep does not overthink the situation or doesn't try to tinker too much. For instance, let me give you a quick example of that. Going to a back three. Like if we line up versus Borussia Dortmund and we play in a back three, I'm probably gonna shit the bed before the game even starts because I don't want to see that right now. That's something that I don't want to see. That's something that we can experiment in the league with. But if that first leg happens, and I didn't even talk about that, so let me pump the brakes on that. The first leg of all these competitions will begin on April 6th and April 7th. Reverse fixtures will be played on April 13th and April 14th. So I just don't want to see Pep, tinker with the team in that type of manner to go to like a back three all of a sudden. Like that would be something that we could say he's overanalyzing the situation. If he decides we got to go false nine, we just got to see a little consistency. So the only thing we're hoping in this case is that Pep Guardiola doesn't overthink the situation because that will give the pundits credibility to start asking questions because you know that they already started to pile on the expectations. Manchester City's the best team in Europe. They got the best defense. We know we believe in our defense and our defense due to Reuben Diaz coming into the squad, and they're doing really well. But Europe is a whole different animal. Even though we got through Borussia Dortmund quite comfortably, we're still in that that one round that we just could not shake underneath Pep Guardiola. So for me, like I said, I just hope that Pep Guardiola does not overthink the situation. Um, I don't know what a chill pill is, but Pep needs to take a chill pill or maybe have a glass of wine before the match. I don't know. Smoke a little bud, do whatever he got to do to make sure we don't overthink the situation. The second thing I really want to talk about is it's going to be Kevin. It's going to be Kevin De Bruyne, our world class midfielder. And the reason why I want to talk about Kevin right now is that, I think that this particular match is going to be very, very pivotal into Kevin De Bruyne's mindset as far as if he's going to sign that contract. And let me be clear, I definitely want to see Kevin De Bruyne, just like all of you other guys want to see Kevin De Bruyne stay with the team. But Kevin De Bruyne is doing something, and I can't blame him for what he's doing. I think that he is solely going to make his decision. Well, not solely, but it's going to weigh heavily on his mind of what we do this particular year's Champions League or Champions League before he signs this contract. And the reason why I say that is that you got to think about it. When Kevin first came to Manchester City, we went to the semifinals. All of a sudden we get Pep Guardiola and we just get stuck again and again and again and not able to progress out of this particular quarterfinal round. But when you look at Kevin De Bruyne's last year when his press conferences came up and they threw the microphone in front of his face after we lost to Leon, you can hear him say again, we losing. And he basically said that, again, we're losing in the quarterfinals. And you could just see how distraught the man was. Like he just looked like he was spent because Kevin De Bruyne has already had making it past the quarterfinals under Pellegrini, and now he's won the Premier League consecutive times. Now he's won the FA Cup, he's won the League Cup, but the one thing he doesn't have on his Manchester City CV or his CV overall is really that Champions League success, meaning that Champions League trophy or even reaching to a final. He doesn't have that. So I really believe that Kevin De Bruyne's strategy is whether he's going to sign this contract is going to be weighed upon what we do in this particular Champions League year because he's probably saying to himself, we got to see progression. If I'm going to stay around with this team, I love this city. I love the fans. I love the club. But if we don't make it past the particular quarterfinals, Kevin will factor in his decision. Now, I do think he will stay at Manchester City, but I'm not going to be shocked if you start hearing some rhetoric around Kevin's going to have to think about what he wants to do or take some time to think about what he wants to do if we lose in the quarterfinals again. And I'm not going to blame him for that. You know what I mean? So that's just what I'm thinking there. Now I want to go on to, why I should be a little less nervous. And when I say that with the Manchester City players that we have, when I look at the squad this year, I'm saying to myself, who in this squad can make me feel a little bit at ease? And these are key players I want to talk about. Obviously, Reuben Diaz coming into the league this year and signing for Manchester City, we've already seen his leadership skills on full display. So this man is obviously a leader. He can organize the back line to where we've been, one of the best defenses since we got Reuben Diaz. So it goes to show you that this man is a leader. He knows how to organize and he takes the job seriously. He's always communicating with the team. And no matter whether you look at Reuben Diaz's partnership with John Stones, it looks solid, or even his partnership with Emerick Laporte, because Emerick Laporte has got better, in my opinion, under Reuben Diaz because Reuben Diaz is helping him work on his communication and talking. No matter what sport you play, especially, I'm a big basketball fan. I grew up in New York, so I love basketball. I love the sport of football, due to European football, not American football, due to the fact of my travels and kind of really getting engulfed in the culture. So when you look at like a sport like basketball or you look at a sport like football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, it's a lot of this. You got to be talking, you got to be communicating. And I think that this is something Emerick Laporte has worked on. So what gives me confidence is definitely Reuben Diaz. The second player I want to talk about is Mahrez. I can't really think about, times in the Champions League that Mahrez has really put a foot wrong. And the reason why I'm talking about Mahrez right now is that that there's certain things that Riyad Mahrez does. Riyad Mahrez does not strike you as a player that gets nervous. If he gets the opportunity, he's shooting the ball. That's what he does. He's going to put it on his left foot and he's going to try to test the keeper. He don't care who it is that he plays. And you need a little bit of that in the Champions League. So I think that he's going to be very vital to what we do this year. Um, Another player I want to talk about, it's got to be Phil Foden time, man. I can't remember Phil Foden really having it. Foden's a young player. He's not really a youngster anymore, but Phil Foden, I can't remember, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch a lot of the video before I do like my full preview to the game closer to when the match is supposed to happen. But I can't remember times that Phil Foden has really played in the Champions League for Manchester City in the quarterfinals previously. So I think it's about that time that we say, Pep, I don't care what you, well, I ain't gonna say I don't care what you do, but Pep, this guy got to play. This guy got to play when it comes to the Champions League. Not only is he one of our own, but he knows what it means, and he is no longer a freaking kid. He has to play in the Champions League. I don't care if he's on the wing. I don't care if he's in midfield, but I think it's time that we really start seeing Phil Foden shine or at least have some opportunity consistently. Now, if we lose and we have Foden out there, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to lose and not give Foden his opportunity in the Champions League because we starting to see every year his development gets better. And he's doing it now in the Premier League in a multitude of different positions. So it's important that we see him in this particular Champions League. So those are the real three players. I'm trying to think about other players right now. I mean, I don't want to talk about Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero, because all of these other players they have been here throughout our Champions League. But I think that those are three players I really want to pay attention to. Now, time to get on to the Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund, specifically targeting Borussia Dortmund. So I want to say when it comes to playing Dortmund, man, it's going to be incredible to see what we can do against this team because the one thing we know about Dortmund is that, man, Haaland is spectacular. And I'm going to get into Haaland a little bit more, but I'm going to pump the brakes before I talk about Haaland and say, hey, Jadon, it's been a long time since we've seen you, old friend. So it's going to be really good to see Jadon Sancho again. I know some people were happy that he left the club. I was a little sad that he left the club, especially how much money we let him go for. And then now, teams asking for 100 million. I know he hasn't had the best season this particular year, but it'd be nice to really see our old friend Jadon Sancho. So part of me with that, I'm gonna look at Jada Sancho's stats. So when I'm going into Jada Sancho's stats, specifically in the Champions League this year, we know he's had a slow start to the season due to speculation about him wanting to go to United, and that didn't happen. Maybe that slowed him up a little bit. But I think Jada Sancho's really starting to come on alive a little bit right now. And for a 20-year-old, this kid has got some unbelievable talent. And it was kind of hard for me to see us let him go because I said to myself, bro, we should keep this guy. Now, I know that it was a little acting up that happened and that transpired to him getting kicked out the door, but you got to admire a kid who wants to play. We've seen this with Paul Pogba. We've seen this with a lot of players throughout the years. It's because you're young, you want to play. And we're lucky to retain Phil Foden the way we have because I'm pretty sure there's been some years in there where Phil Foden has said, I want to play or I'm going to have to look at other opportunities. But we managed to manage that situation the way we needed to. So when we look at Jadon Sancho's stats, particularly when it comes to the Champions League, he's played in 6 games in the Champions League. He has 2 goals only. So those stats are not really alarming, but keep in mind, too, that he's had a slow start. Now, when you look at his Bundesliga play in the German league, he's had 21 matches, 6 goals, 9 assists. And that's really what Jadon Sancho can do. When you look at Jadon Sancho, he's somebody who is very calm for such a young player. He creates opportunities and he can score. So I'm gonna, take these stats with a little bit of a grain of salt. Now, time to get into the headliner, Mr. Haaland. Now I know there's been a lot of City fans out there that want to talk about, yo, Manchester City, son, we need a striker. We need to go out there and get Haaland. Everybody wants Haaland, man. And when you look at these stats, bro, you can kind of see why. So let's take a look at Haaland's stats. Haaland is setting this league ablaze. No matter what you think about the Bundesliga overall compared to the Premier League, or if you're a La Liga fan or whatever, this man is setting, he's setting everything on fire. The man's walking on scorched earth when he touched down, bro, because that's just on the type of level he's at right now. So when you look at him, the man has played 20 matches in the Bundesliga. He's got 20 matches, 19 goals, 4 assists. So, bro, if you got 19 and 20, those are Ronaldo type numbers. You know what I mean? So the man is on fire in the Bundesliga. Now, when you look at his Champions League success, 6 matches in the Champions League, 10 goals. That is, it's getting spooky when you look at stuff like that. So you can obviously see why Manchester City fans are like, yo, we got to go all out to get this guy. For me personally, and I've covered this before. Pardon me, got to take another swig here. I've covered this plenty of times before. I'm not too sure that Manchester City is going to spend 120 million on one specific player. We know that we are now entering an era where Manchester City historically we don't spend that type of level of money. And for us to approach Haaland, even though Haaland is on fire, we're gonna have to spend more money than we've ever spent. And we have slowly been starting to go up. The money that we spent on Riyad Mahrez, the money that we spent on Emerick Laporte, the money we spent on Reuben Diaz. Are we really gonna go in that trajectory of 70, hit a 80, and go from 80 to 120? I don't know. I don't know. I know we need a striker, but I'm not too sure if we're going to go to 120. The other thing is, we know who his agent is. When you're dealing with Mino Raiola, Mino Raiola is a headache to really deal with. And there's been a lot of talk out there is that Haaland is the type of player, and the way Mino's kind of working the situation is that they want to go to clubs for 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, and it's a great money opportunity for them. But if we get Haaland at 120 million, we want to see this guy forever as long as he's making in goals. So I think it'll be crazy if we get this guy and we get him for 3 years and then he's off to Real Madrid or something like that. So I'm a little tough on that situation. Plus the fact that when you look at the way Pep is playing this particular year, we're playing in such a situation now to where, excuse me, that was just rude. We're playing in such a situation right now that we're not even playing with a striker. Gabriel Jesus is floating around all over the place. Sergio Aguero hasn't really been fully healthy. So what are we really going to do? If we spend that type of money on him, that means that Pep Guardiola needs to either say, yo, all right, I love this midfield fluidity, but I need to go back to that 4-3-3 football or with a dedicated striker. Because, ask yourself this one question. You think you're gonna see Haaland lining up at left back, running around to or not left back, but left wing on the left wing side, then running around on the right wing side? Yo, Haaland is a number 9, pure number 9, and we've seen success with Guardiola. Let's look at Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski banging in goals for Pep underneath when he was over there at Bayern. So I'm hoping that if we do get this player, and I definitely want Haaland, I'm just a little concerned that the whole 3 years, who his agent is, the fact that we spend that type of money, and then we have this extra fluid system. Is Haaland going to say to himself he wants to come to a club where we have such fluidity? But obviously, we definitely want to get this player. Now, when I look at Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund, the one thing I'm thinking about in my mind is that we know Borussia Dortmund, with all the players that they have, you're talking about the Haalands of the world, the Jadon Sanchos of the world, the Marco Royces. They also got my man Gio Reyna. They got him. They got Matt Hummels. They got a few players. They also landed Jude Bellingham. They got the younger Hazard. So they got some talent there. And when you look at their defense, the one thing we know about their defense is that they are capable of letting in goals. So the defense could get a little sloppy sometimes, and they will let in goals. But we also know that they can score as well. So that is something that gives me a little causation here. I think we have a great opportunity to possibly go through, but we're going to have to show, and this is one thing that I think is going to be another vital piece, is that if we have the opportunity to go through and how we go through, a lot of it is going to be centered around Manchester City being clinical because we know that they're going to give up chances, but what are we going to do in those clinical moments to where we cannot be wasteful in front of goal? And as we know as Manchester City fans, we do have a tendency to not be as clinical as we need to be. So the question is can we work in training to, work on that ability to be a little bit more clinical before April 6th and before April 7th. I don't know what day we play them on exactly, but we need to be working to be extra clinical. It's because we know that they're going to give up opportunities, but the question is we going to make the most of those opportunities? And as rock solid as we've been in defense, can our defense stop a physical striker like Haaland? Haaland is tall, the man can run, and we've seen our success against Premier League teams, right? So think about strikers that we face in the Premier League that you would deem to be physical. We pretty much handled, I would say, Harry Kane in the second fixture versus them because Tottenham beat us in the first fixture that we played them early in the year. So when I think about physical strikers that we played this year, you got to look at Kane. We didn't really have a chance to see necessarily, Firmino play against Liverpool because of just Firmino hasn't really been in that ultimate form. So I personally don't think we've seen a striker yet like Erling Haaland because of his pace and his power, the fact that he's young. So it's going to be a great test, no matter if it's Stones, Diaz, or, Emerick Laporte, Ake. We don't know. But I'm confident in our defense, but this is going to be a real test for our defense. Another thing I need to mention about Erling Haaland is that if you're thinking about it from an Erling Haaland perspective, so all Manchester City fans that want Erling Haaland, Mino Raiola is probably sitting back loving this opportunity. This is almost like perfect advertising for his client. Because if you think about it, not only do Manchester City want to sign this player, and let's say that number is 120, you know, Dortmund gonna want more money than 120, even though I think that they structure that contract to say, okay, don't be asking for some ridiculous money because we want to move on at some point. But this is perfect advertisement for him because now he gets to have Erling Haaland in front of all people's eyes, especially Manchester City and the other Champions League teams that might want him. And this is the perfect way for us to look at him versus Manchester City versus our defense to see what he's capable of. Because now we're going to have our defense versus him. So we're going to get a real clear picture. Is he the striker that we really want in this match? So that's going to be critical. But at the end of the day, I always remain calm on this. So the only thing I want to see in closing is Pep, please don't overthink it. Whatever the team is going to be is what the team is going to be. Just no back three nonsense. Try to do your best about not overthinking the situation, whether it's will we find success in the first leg versus the second leg. Try to have some kind of consistency there. No rash decisions. You know what I mean? So let's just try to progress any way we can. Kevin, Kevin, just understand. We know that you've won things with us. We always want to see you with City, but we know that a lot of what Kevin is going to decide is going to be based upon this particular competition if we go through. And then other players on the team, who's going to step up for us? Who's going to say, obviously that's happened 4 years ago, or over the last 4 years, we haven't found success. Which players in our squad are going to say, forget all of that nonsense that happened before, but this is the team we're here now. And when I'm thinking about that, obviously you got to look at the Sergio Agueros, you got to look at the De Bruynes, you got to look at Raheem Sterling, you got to look at Gabriel Jesus, Edison, no fumbles, no mess ups, Bernardo. We got you because of what you did to us, in 2016. Is Bernardo going to be able to kick on? This is going to obviously be a test for Kyle Walker. You know what I mean? If he decides to play? That's another talking point. Does Kyle Walker play? Does he play João Cancelo? Things like that is what we're going to have to be able to look at. Now, I love the team, but I will say this. I am not going to be sitting up here talking about, yo, I'm so happy that we played Borussia Dortmund. We got a chance to go through because, as you guys know, anything can happen in this particular round. But I believe in these players to get over the hurdle. And sometimes, in order for you to get over the hurdle, you got to experience some kind of loss in some kind of way or some type of setback, something that makes you look in the mirror and say, yo, I need to be stronger. I need to be tougher in these moments. So hopefully, the team has learned from those particular instances over the course of the last 4 years. We can go through in this competition just being strong, solid, and let's get back to some form of finding out, can we be clinical? And Pep, please play Phil Foden in some form or another. He's one of our own. Let's give him an opportunity. So I'm going to cover the match a little bit more detail when we get closer to that time. But I just wanted to bring you guys a video talking about the Champions League quarterfinal draw, Manchester City's history, what we need to do to go forward. And we're going to remain even kill, but we believe in these players. Go out and do your thing tomorrow in the FA Cup. We got a big match versus Everton. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we're still City. And this is Blue is Our City, Manchester City fan channel. So thank you guys for subscribing, showing love. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.